Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott Wave update for HBAR. I'm going to be focusing on the smaller time frame down here. I just wanted to show you where we are on the daily. Since the significant low, we had a B, C as a diagonal for a W wave. We then had a 3, 3, 3 for a WXY as a expanded flat. Our X wave came between the 1.236 and the 382 extension of this W wave, which is exactly where we expect our B or X wave. We then completed in a zigzag, came to the 618 retracement of the entire move of W, and we have our reaction now. That was our buy zone initially, and we came up just shy of the 1.618 extension of W off of X. So everything lined up for a potential pivot in that area. And now we're looking for a three-wave move to the upside as a Y wave at the 1-to-1 extension of W off X, up around 23 cents. Now, I also have to give you the option that this is also extremely bullish, and this can also be counted as a 1-2, 1-2. Although it goes against guidelines, it doesn't break any rules, which would be much more impulsive. And we'll talk about what happened the last couple days. Okay, so we're down on the smaller time frames. This has been a pretty ugly wave. We didn't get the reaction we expected. This is one of the cleaner initial five-wave moves I saw in the market. Very nice five-wave move. We then had a pretty sharp correction and either a diagonal or an A wave and a B wave. If you watch my last video, I was looking for something like this, and then we take off. That was option number one. Or this is a 1-2. I don't think it is either currently, just my point of view, just based on these waves here. Usually in a third, if we had a 1-2, 1-2, this would absolutely explode. It would be very steep in the breakout. We'd have a lot of volume, which we don't have. RSI is peaking, but kind of all over the place. So those are indications that this isn't a third wave. So if it's not a third wave, what is it, right? Because this is clearly 5. It fits best as 5. And how I would account this, although it's not ideal, is an A, B, C, like so. Reason for this is these waves are getting a lot of 1-to-1 extensions. Let me back this up a little bit. Back it up. There we go. You can see we're getting 1-to-1 extensions, which is indicative more of a corrective pattern than impulses. You can see the 1-to-1s. And this doesn't qualify as a flat. We didn't hit the 618. So when you see that, you got to start changing your point of view a little bit. I would call this probably over here as a diagonal, ABC, ABC, and this would actually be a WXY, double zigzag. I've said it many times. Put that in your head every time you see a diagonal. They very much match a WXY with a running flat correction X. Happens a lot. So make sure you keep both those in your mind when you see these sort of patterns and look for the reaction after. Initially, it really looked like we were getting a third wave there, right? Started to break out, but when we see these three-wave patterns, it's pretty ugly. I'm not sure how you can get 5 out of those. I would never label those as 5-wave patterns. But what does that mean for us? Okay. It doesn't have the shape I like, but if we take the first WXY, you can see the next one is larger than 1 to 1. And then the third one is larger than that as well, slightly. So the only way I can really label this is as a diagonal. It meets the guidelines, it doesn't break any rules, it's just an expanded diagonal. So I'd call this, it doesn't have the shape I like, but it's pretty much the only way I can label this currently. Currently with the shapes available. So I'd call this a diagonal. So where does that leave us? That leaves us as wave 1 in a potential diagonal, ABC, 5, 3, 5 as a diagonal. So we'd be looking for wave 1 in a diagonal, so I'd be looking for 3 wave patterns. Let's come down here, 3, 4, similar to Bitcoin. Alternatively, I'm trying to think of coins I've saw this in where the second wave 1 passes the 1 to 1. I saw it in Solana way back where it went 1 2 1 2, but we had a larger second wave. So that's possible too. That doesn't break any rules, just a few guidelines. So this can also be a 1 2 1 2. And then we do get our massive third after the fact. So you're not going to know which one is which. It's just the way it is. And if you're tracking this in real time, you'd look for a ABC correction between the 382 and the 618 and watch for a reaction. If this is a second 1 2, it shouldn't take as long as if this was a wave 1. As an ABC, this one should drag out a little bit longer, right? Just guidelines, not rules, but just making that clear. And if this is the larger wave 1, we'd have slightly different pivots, and we have the ability to come a little bit lower to like 6.58 cents. So what's going to be important is the reaction in this zone. Do we stretch out in 3, come back down, then go? Or do we launch from here? Indications to help you with that is break of the 618 on the upside as soon as this pivots in. If it starts going with a lot of volume, steep, then you can offer the option that that's a 1 2 1 2. But you won't know until we get that correction, or at least get high probability viewpoint on that. So if we come down like that and we just explode, that's an area where potentially, if you are not in this trade, you could buy the break of this B wave, stop at this low. That would offer a good entry. But if we make our first wave, perhaps a W or A, and we just drift sideways and get one more, then you can adjust from there, and I'll make sure to update all that. But right now, that's what I'm looking for. I wouldn't be surprised to see one more high, and then this would look like a more standard diagonal, like so. And this is just a double zigzag. This can happen too, and then we come down, take the liquidity above this E wave, and then reverse. But I don't see it as quite impulsive yet, just because of these 3s. I can't see these anything else but 3s. All right, so that's about as high as I'd want to see it. Come shy of the 1.618 extension, but just take the liquidity above this E wave in our triangle to the downside, and then come back. If something changes, this count becomes obviously something else. I will make sure to update that, but I'm expecting either one more tick up and we make our standard diagonal, or we just come down from here. that would give us better shape. So I'd actually prefer that happen. But as of right now, I am in this long down from this area, but I am hedged right now. I have the same amount short as long. I'm just neutral in this zone. I want to see this play out. I'm not going to try and get that last snag, and I'll wait for this. All right, guys, so that's it for HBAR. Still looking good. And I hope this is, I don't have to say this, but if we start coming down very aggressively, we'll have to adjust our count to perhaps needing one more low. But I won't talk about that now till it's needed. Just know that's an option too, because we only have 3 waves up. All right, guys, so that's it for HBAR. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.